Good morning, yogis. Come and join me on the mat. Relaxing flow time. Come all the way down and find something to position underneath your hips as we come into a seat to start practice this morning. So if you have a cushion or a blanket that you can fold up just to make a little softness underneath the sit bones, that is a lovely idea. It also allows a little tilting forward of the hips. I'm just going to move the camera so you can see more of the frame of the mat. Ooh, hello. And then I'll come all the way back. So once you come into the seat, spend a moment or two just positioning the body so there's a downward dropping of the knees and the hips can soften. Take a little moment, check out the head, loosen everything up. And then a few rolls of the shoulders just to massage the back. Feel the movement of breath begin to flow. The eyes close. Allow the movement to be a felt sense of being. Can you feel how the shoulder joint initiates that flow, that rhythm? As you pause, go the opposite direction. So roll the shoulders forward. Just notice the placement of the chin. Keep it parallel to the earth. Keep that head seated comfortably on the pillar of the neck. Draw the breath down low into the base of the lung. Alright, pause. Now take one forward, one back. So it feels a little bit strange. I don't want to open the eyes to do this. But what we're simply doing is waking the body up and just inviting a little sense of play and curiosity. We come to the mat with one of the concepts of mindfulness called beginner's mind. So just playing with your body, pause and move the other way. And a slow circling round is one way a little more challenging than the other. Just allow your body to invite you into awareness as you feel the subtle differences and the little challenges that it presents. Beautiful. So stretch out the hips. We'll begin to extend the hands forward and up the mat. And we just want a little tilting forward. And today you might be here. It might be enough just trying to press the hip points forward to the front of the mat. Or if you can, we'll drop down a little bit deeper. Let the hands come out. I like to think of cat paws, just gently pawing the earth. And then allow a little side to side sway just to massage the spine in the base of the hips. So just allowing the body to flow without any rigidity or tightness entering in. Find the back of the seat, connect it to the floor. You might want to walk the hands in slightly. I'm just going to move that, poking me in the belly. And walk over towards the right. So you feel a fanning stretch all the way into the left side waist. Now that might be enough for you. You can slide that left hand down and then just bring the right hand out and let the forehead rest on the pillow of flesh made by the arm. Beautiful. If you can, come up into the fingertips and continue the rotation as you peek underneath your right armpit. Feel the ear descend towards the earth. And move the breath into the right side of the rib cage. Notice if the neck is tightened. Big breath in, big breath out. Finding a variation, you might be upright. So option would be to have the hand on the knee and just twist and turn and look over your right shoulder if folding forward isn't available to your body. There's always a choice and a place that the body can move to. As you inhale, we'll bring the hand back and reach it out to the front, and then we'll take a little walk over to the left side. So option is to have that left hand up and the right hand on the knee, and then swivel it around. And that might be you. Gaze peels back over left shoulder, or maybe hands out. And then maybe you're bending that other arm, resting the head down, and just twisting and going a little, go a little deeper. The left arm. To the front, walk yourself as you transition to the middle of the mat, And then allow yourself to rise all the way up. Bring the feet behind. We'll windscreen wipe the knees to release out the hips. So the knees just go side to side, and a little rocking, maybe even resting to one side just to massage the glute towards the floor, and then the other side. Just a slow rhythmic flow as the knees beat the air. And then we'll bring it back to center, across the other leg in front, reposition the seat so you still have that availability to lean forward. And if you need to prop yourself up higher, please do so. Take a little moment, get yourself balanced upon the two heels of the seat, and then allow yourself to fold forward again. So nice and slow, we're just releasing out the side of the hips. And that same little dance, a serpentine sway, the gaze can drop to the floor. Keep an intelligence in the fingertips, prick the earth, and just notice how that awareness rises from the pressure of the fingers where they meet the floor up the line of the arms. You might want a little dance here. Oh, it sounds nice as you just lubricate the spine. Big breath in, big breath out. Beautiful. And then we're going to deepen the twist. So you can just do this more upright with the hands up. You can even take a hug in, or if you can, slide your hands and reach them to opposite sides of the mat. We've got the left arm in front. The chin just rests down on that left arm. Make sure the throat is free to breathe. Travel the breath into the back of the ribs here. So there's an expansion all the way down into the low lobes of the back ribs. And as you exhale, let everything go. And big breath out. When you're ready, hands come back to the front. We're simply going to swap it over to the other side. The left hand will come through, right hand will come through, and then we're going to soften down, and the chin's going to come to rest on the right arm. We're going to open up the ribs across the back body, and we're going to allow the chest to fall as it melts to the earth. And the chin tuck in. Hands out to either side and open up across those shoulders. Fantastic. From here, we'll begin to bring the hands forward. So bring them to the middle of the mat and slowly press yourself up and away. And then we'll take the windscreen wiping of the legs again. So the hands come out and just let that little internal movement of the hips soften the inner thighs. So you try and touch the tip of the knee down to the floor, stimulating into some of those energy channels that travel from the big toe all the way up the inner seam of the leg. All right, from here we'll take a little fish pose to open up the heart. I'm just going to swing around so you can see. The elbows are going to come behind, and maybe you want to pretend that you're at the beach here. So you're looking at your toes as you press your elbows into the floor, expand across the space of your heart, and then maybe even let the head fall back if that's not too much challenge. Or you've got the option to take the body all the way down to the floor. Press yourself up so you can bring the hands in, scooch the elbows underneath, feet come out, and then lift yourself up and balance on the crown of your head, or if you're like me, on that pillow of hair. And then expand as you open the chest. Let a smile play across the lips. Heart opening poses are beautiful to energize and create that space around our anahata or our heart chakra. So press up, big breath in to expand the ribs all the way to press the side body. As you exhale, tuck the chin and travel it all the way down. And we're all going to come down to the mat now and just lift up the hips and move some space into that tailbone. I'm just going to move away the hair. If you've got the same problem as me, just reposition so your neck can be long and soft and the face can be at ease. And then we'll take the feet out wide again and just allow that slow rocking to massage the back of the hips across that sacroiliac joint. Beautiful. The hands can come out nice and wide. Find a T shape on the earth. Slow progression of the knees through space. And then we'll bring it all the way back to center. Bring the hands down so the fingertips can brush the back of the heels. Walk the feet in. Lift up the back and create a little bit more space. Now, as we press the palms into the floor and engage the triceps to meet the earth, we're going to take a little rock. Pelvis reaches up towards hips and then rock it back. I'm just going to move the microphone away because it's difficult to demonstrate that little pelvic movement when there's a hard surface there. So you want to think of folding in, gather your navel all the way down to press it into the earth, and then press space and let the small of the back peel up. Beautiful. We're going to turn that into an undulation that climbs the spine. So keeping a little tuck of the chin, press down, begin to roll up, reach the knees away and feel that unfurling of the spine from the floor. Press the feet down, knees up, extend out through the tail and balance yourself across the back of the heart space and down into the feet. Deep breath in. Open up the space across the front of the hips, but keep the glutes engaged. As we exhale, let every link of the spine come down to melt into the floor. Nice and slow. We're going to take 3 more undulating waves of breath. Spend a little moment and come into an almost fish pose as you press the tailbone down towards the floor and feel the small of the back arch up. And then we're going to slowly melt the low back down. Keep looking up so the chin is stable and the neck is protected. And we're going to lift up and maybe we're going to walk the elbows in a little closer. Get those shoulder blades together in the middle of the mat so the chest is given more space to expand. As you exhale, there's a rolling down, roll, roll, roll as the back meets the floor. There's 2 more like that. Tucking into the chin, letting the breath initiate the movement. Feel the body slowly ride the breath as it rises to the ceiling. Hug the back of the arms in as you open the inner shoulders towards the outer reaches of your mat. As you exhale, there's a slow progression as the spine melts to the floor. Beautiful. And there's 1 more. Just stay with it. Inhale, belly comes down, tail begins to lift. Rise with the breath. Hug the back of the arms, open broadly across the collarbones. Let the chin be seated in a comfortable position, maybe even rise onto the toes. So there's extra space, that beautiful lengthening out of the whole chain of the spine. And then we'll put the feet down. And as slowly as you can, allow the body to progressively meet the earth. Nice and slow. Let's travel it into the outer hips here. Drop a knee into the chest, bring the hands in, lace the fingers onto the right shin, extend the left leg out as we release out through the muscles parallel to the spine. And we want to think of massaging the belly with the meat of the leg. Shoulders soften down, elbows draw the shoulders from the ears. You can let the breath be soft and the eyes be closed here. Press the back of your hips down, but draw your right hip away from your right shoulder so the side body remains long. There's a little awareness of the obliques here. You can rebend the left knee if that's what you need to do, if there's too much lift or pressure on the muscles in the back, or you can lace the fingers under the thigh, extend the right leg all the way up. Open the legs like scissors, and you might want to just allow a few circles to release out your ankle joint. Always feels delightful. Big breath in and slow breath out, and then we'll circle the other way. Nice and slow. Flex the foot, let the hands rise with the breath. Bring them up towards the ankle as you open out further into the span of the legs. And the weight of the arms is going to increase the stretch. If you need to rebend that left knee to keep the tailbone heavy and the back of the hips planted, I invite you to do so. Or you can keep it extended if that feels available. But the breath needs to be fluid. So if you've lost your breath as you try and deepen the stretch, I invite you to relax a little. It is Saturday morning. Big breath in and a big slow breath out. Beautiful. We'll step that left foot in, keep the flexing of the right foot, bring it all the way down, and then press the right knee away as we peel space into the hips. The hands come out to make T shapes, open up the back of the heart here, and then lift the left leg up off the floor. So we've got the hands out in that goalpost arm position, just so you can notice that the shoulder blades and the head are still on the earth. Keep them there as you bring the hands around to lace onto the thigh or onto the shin, whatever place they come. Or if you need to lift up to get a connection, I just want you to bring the hands back down. So the neck is not pulled into any tension, and the breath continues to dance up and down the length of the spine. Note the rhythmic flow of breath. Let the mind watch it. Know when you're breathing in. Know when you're breathing out. Let that certainty calm the nervous system. If you want a little bit more, hands come to rest on the knees. We're going to pull the knees together, slide the feet down, and just reach out for the ankles as we anchor the hips. Toes can point. Supta Gumankasana here. Breath into the back lungs. Exhale, release the belly. We're really feeling it in those outer hip regions now. And then when you're ready, we'll drop the left foot to the middle of the mat. You might want a single wrap or a double wrap. I'm just going to take a single today. Like we're coming into eagle legs, arms come out. Now, if you have difficulty getting onto your hips, scoot your hips over to the right before you rock down into the left. And then you might want to swing the feet a little deeper into the twist. Hands open out, either a T shape with the palms pressing into the earth to give you that sense of foundation, or you can have the palms upright in a receiving gesture. Chin settles down to reside near the right shoulder, and the breath moves into the side waist. And twists are so good to reset the spine, but they also reset the mind. As we just ring out along the central axis, that central nervous system, we move into the rest and digest state of the parasympathetic nervous system. We just calm that primitive reptilian brain. Come all the way back. Bring the feet to the center, reposition yourself in the middle of the mat, and then bring both feet to rest. Left knee comes in. Now you might want to keep right foot on the floor as a sense of grounding as you gather left knee in, draw it towards left shoulder, but keep left shoulder down from the ear. Maybe right leg extends out, but only if that's available for your body. If you're feeling tension in those muscles just above the sacral plate, then I want you to rebend the knee. Let the eyes soften and the breath move in and out. And we'll give it time as we gently position that left hip bone away from the left shoulder. Side waist is expansive. Beautiful. Relaxed and easy breath here. I'm going to bring the hand around and lace it under the back of the thigh as we extend the left leg up. And there's a slow circling out as we release the ankle. We keep the upper body heavy. Circle, 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 and soften. And then move in the other direction, nice and slow. Slowly circling it out. And maybe you want to increase the angle of the hips as you bring the hands up. It'll open the legs into scissor blades. But the weight of the arms is all you really need to encourage depth into the stretch. You can let the eyes be rested. It really is all about the essence of breath here. So the calmer, the more relaxed the pranayama, the breathing techniques, the more the body will begin to shed tension that it might have been holding. The more the mind will let go of any of the things that have just become caught. The ways we get ensnared by the little dramas of the week. We use the breath to sweep them free from the mind, like spring cleaning the consciousness. When you're ready, we'll step that right foot in and we'll position that left leg on top and press it away. Set up for a figure 4, like threading the needle shape. And then again, bring the arms out into those gold posts or those cactus arms, just so you can feel the back of the ribs hug the earth. Keep flexion in the left foot to keep the knee and the ankle joint safe. When you're ready, right foot can lift. You can bring the hands through and lace them to bind on the shin. Keep the openness across your chest. You can tuck the chin in. Breath in and breath out. Breath in and breath out. In and slow breath out. If you're looking to deepen the experience, hand comes onto the knees. Draw the knees together as you take the heels out for opposite corners of the room. Let the hands slide down so they're coming to just gently position onto the ankles, and then pull your thighs together as you open your feet away from each other. Keep the tailbone heavy. Try and balance the hips on the floor. Deep breath in. And slow, rhythmic breath out. Being slow and subtle in our practice today and really enjoying every moment. Deep breath in and deep breath out. And one more deep breath in. And deep breath out. Bring the foot to the center of the mat. Left leg crosses on top, either single bind or double bind. And if you need the extra space for your spine, lift your hips up and scooch them over towards the left-hand side of the mat. Arms come out, knees tick-tock over to meet the earth on the right, and the chin's going to settle over near the left shoulder. And then we're going to allow the back of the ribs to be soft. You might want the arms in a big T shape if that helps you expand the heart more. If you press down into the thumbs, you'll feel the meridian line of the heart. This is where it starts, in the tips of the big finger in the thumbs. Let the shoulders draw down away from the ears. Keep the face soft and relaxed as you fill the breath into the left side of the ribs.
And then we'll squeeze the inner thighs as we come all the way back to center. Position yourself right in the middle of the mat. Let's come into some lateral movement for the spine. So from here, we're going to take a big banana asana. Feet come all the way out. We're going to reach the hands up and over to the left. At the same time, press your hips towards the right. Use your left fingers, grab a hold of your right wrist. You might even want to scooch the upper body so you've got the crown pointed to the back. Left hand corner or the top left hand corner, depending on which way you're lying on your mat, and then let your feet walk over to the left too. So you've got the heels and the crown at the edges of the mat, but the right hip, which is particularly heavy here to keep the span open across the belly as we breathe into that place of fire, the Manipura third chakra, just around the navel. Feel that right hip be heavy, and that's over towards the right side of the mat. Chin can soften down. Breath can drop the right shoulder blade to meet the earth. It keeps it a more accurate chest opener and side bend. If we allow the rolling in of that right shoulder, we're not going to get that expansiveness in the collarbones. Big breath in and slow and rhythmic breath out. Big breath in and slow and rhythmic breath out. And then we'll relax. We'll bring it back to center and we'll position the body for the second side. So the feet will take a little trot over towards the left hand side of the mat, and the left leg will swing up and over. The right fingertips are going to clasp a hold of the left wrist. We're going to position ourselves over towards the right side as well as we press the right hip towards the left and draw the chin down to snuggle near right shoulder. So let the back of the left shoulder blade be heavy. The left hip is heavy and the breath fills the pool of the belly. Big breaths in and big slow breaths out. And just keep that openness in the chest. Give it 5 slow breaths here. Just allowing the side body time to fully unravel any tensions that have become trapped there. And then when you're ready, we'll relax and we'll bring the body all the way back to center. You might need to reposition because you probably wiggled somewhere crazy. Okay, from here we're going to take marionette pose. I'm just going to swing it around. So to take marionette pose, we're going to take the right leg out to the side. So think of the knee opening out to the side. You can take that right hand up near the right ear and just pop the left hand down on the floor. And we're going to take the heel and align it with the kneecap, right hip and right glutes massaged into the floor. And then from here, slide the heel away from you. So it's a sliding and gliding motion for your hips. And then bring your right knee up. So you'll feel the subtle movement of the core. Slide the heel away. Got that right hand extended and the chin over near the left shoulder. You'll feel that openness in the shoulder and the side waist too. We'll do about another 4 of these. Slide it up. Try and keep heel and knee aligned. You'll feel it is a pretty solid activation on that right hip. But it's very gentle. It's really good to work with fascial tissue because it's a slow movement and it moves really well with rhythm of breath. And then we'll bring the foot all the way down. Reposition the right leg back in line with the right hip, and you can bring that right hand down to be an anchor. Left hand will come up in line with the left ear, and then we'll open up the hip. Just take it out to the side, bring the heel and align it with the knee. Notice if the inner thigh is tighter on this side. You can have your chin over near the right, just so there's that little element of twist to stimulate the navel. And then slide the foot up, knee rising high, and then press the heel away and just slide and glide. So activate the core, it's what lifts the leg, and then press it away, working into the transverse abdominis, but also hitting into some of those outer hip muscles that get incredibly tight and bound up. But when we work with sliding and gliding, we mimic that fluid nature of the extracellular matrix that our fascial tissue floats in, the goo underneath the wrapping of our skin. Just lift and lower. We've got about another 2. Let the breath continue to be slow. And just feel how slow rhythm is so calming for the nervous system. It's any kind of rhythm just resets us back into that rest and digest. Bring the foot in, bring the hands in, begin to walk the feet up. Now I'll give you a couple of different options here. Sometimes as we open the legs out, there can be a lifting of the back and Supta Baddha Konasana. So you've got the option of doing that if you want to take that Pilates imprint, ribs and hips come together and it's not too much on your hips as you open them out, butterfly wings. Or you can bring the knees in and grab a hold of the feet and use the elbows to open up. But you can see here my tailbone is heavy, so my spine never leaves the floor. And then the low back feels rested. The bones can relax. And allow a little rock side to side to massage across that really tense spot on many people where we can press into the back. So a slow, rhythmic rock from side to side. And again, it's that repetition. There's the certainty. And then there's that lulling nature, like a baby being rocked in a cradle. And just settles and soothes all of the fluctuations of the mind, brings it into noticing this slow beat, almost like a heartbeat, as the hips meet the earth and come back to the sky. Beautiful. And you'll feel that we're really getting close to that Shavasana point, because the whole of the body is just beginning to prepare for rest. We'll take a little inversion here. So we're going to take a happy baby's pose if that's okay for you. Scoop the hands to the back of the thighs, let the heels grow up and align them with the knees, and then broaden out across the seat so the sit bones open. The hands can rise up, but only if you can keep the upper body on the floor. So if you're having to peel up, and you'll be looking straight up, I'm just looking at the camera because otherwise it feels a bit impersonal. Hands come all the way up. And if you're in one of our Zoom classes, we use it just so we can see that you are safe in your practice. So open up the feet, but continue to descend the tail towards the floor. Slow movement of breath. And again, if you find the rock is really calming, I invite you to do that. Or if you find that stillness suits your body, then allow yourself just to fall into that place of rest. And we'll give it a few moments just so the pose can take and the body can marinate in that shape as the hips soften. The hips get so tight. If you have the practice, and you really do need to be aware of the neck here, if you want to come into a halasana or a plow pose, you can take the feet up high. You might even want to take a shoulder stand just to deepen that inversion. And then from here we'll lift up, bring the hands behind and try and wiggle your elbows in towards each other. If you're lifting up high, bring the toes to touch and keep the feet active. Flex the feet to keep the intelligence of the legs. I'm not going to look at the camera. Keep looking at your toes here. Lift up a little bit higher and use your hands so you're not dumping into that lumbar spine. Engage the core. And I encourage a little rounding of the back here. This comes from Gary Koslo's variation, just so there's not too much pressure on the cervical spine. And be really mindful of the neck as the toes come over the head. So if you keep that little engagement through the core, the hips are lifting up high, so you're not dumping the weight into those sensitive vertebrae of the neck column. Hands can find the floor. If you open the legs out wide, it's easier to find the earth. Feet together is a little bit harder, but you'll feel that stretch all the way for the muscles either side of the spine. If this at any point becomes problematic for the neck, I invite you to leave the pose. Otherwise, you can breathe. Feel that beautiful curving of the spine. The elbows are trying to meet in, and then the hands can massage the back. Feels really nice. When you're ready, hands create a foundation and we lower with ease. So we'll let the exhale begin that slow descent, and every vertebra of the spine kisses the earth as it comes down. Slow, slow, slow. Shoulders soften from ears. Now, if you've had any tension in the back, you might want to take the feet out, reposition the hips, let the knees fall in. And as the knees support each other, palms come up. The low back is melted into the floor. If you've got a bolster or pillow you'd like to prop under the knees, that's an available option too. Or you can simply allow the legs to stretch out, but take your feet a little wider than your hips so your toes can just flop to opposite corners of the room. Hands reach out, chin tucks, and there's a big expansive breath across the back ribs. Feel how that opens up the space in the heart. Chin tucks down. And we'll allow the rhythm of the breath to let everything go. So we've got a few minutes here. I'll stay with you in your Shavasana today. If you are having difficulty settling the mind, bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest, and just allow the pressure of the hands to be a little portal, a placement of the limbs on the body, just reminding you to bring your mind and your body into union. And this is the ultimate goal of yoga, is this integration. When the mind and the body can be in the same place at the same time, there's a quality of presence that's missing from our life most of the day. The mind will want to hop from the mat. Keep it calmed and soothed by watching the flow of breath. And I'll stay with you and breathe. Just feel the floating of the chest and the belly as you take those deep breaths in. And feel the softening of everything as you allow the breath to let go. Beautiful. You may take as long as you want in this final resting pose. If you do need to move on with your day, take your time as you lift yourself up, but I do invite you just to listen and know that you don't have to move if it's not necessary. Bring yourself over into a little fetal position, a little recovery position on your favorite side. Spend a moment or two just keeping that quality of presence and connection. And then when you're ready, we'll press the earth away and lift all the way up to come into a comfortable seat. And if you want to come back to grabbing that little bit of extra softness for the seat, please do so. It just makes it a little bit easier on the hips. The shoulders fall down into the back. Spend a moment letting the breath rise tall into the spine. Find a little connection of energy, like you're lifting or drawing energy up from the hips, using the spine like a straw. Bring it all the way to the crown. And if it's right for you, hands can come to meet in Anjali Mudra. Chin can lower down as we bow to the wisdom in our heart space. I thank you all for sharing your practice with me on this beautiful morning. I bow to you. Namaste. Yogis, thank you for sharing your practice. May you have a day filled with gratitude, peace and delight, and we'll see you for practice very soon.